Hello again folks, welcome along to another video of Flyfishing. In today's video I'm going to give you my top 3 tips for fly fishing success. So if you're a beginner fly fisher, or if you've been fishing a while and with limited success or no consistency, well, this is the video for you. So if you'd like to hear more about it, it's coming right after this. Okay folks, my top 3 tips for fly fishing success. Tip number 3, keep your casts short. The vast majority of the trout that I catch on rivers are caught within 2 to 3 lengths of the fly rod. And the rod I use for the most part is a 9-foot rod. So therefore, most of the fish that I catch, 95% of them are caught within 20 feet. An old friend of mine who was a very good angler used to say, get as close as you can and then get 2 yards closer. And it makes perfect sense when you understand. The nearer you are to your quarry, the easier it is to fool them. The further away they are, the more difficult it is. The closer you are, you have less scope for making an error or mistake, such as a clumsy cast or a drag or some other problem. So the real skill in fly fishing is getting as close as you can to your quarry, and if you use this method and spend the time to learn how to approach fish and get close to them, you will massively increase your catch rate. There's no need to cast 20 yards of a line or to cast to the far bank 30 yards away. It may be an accomplishment in its own right in some way, but it will not catch you more fish. What will catch you more fish consistently is getting as close as you can. So that's my number 3 tip for fly fishing success. Now we go to tip number 2. Now tip number 2, the question I get asked most consistently is, what fly are they taking at the moment? What fly should I be using in a given circumstance at this time of the year, for instance? A consistent question is, the trout were taking flies, I couldn't identify them, and all that sort of stuff. My number 2 tip is, don't get caught up in the school of exact representation. There's a myth out there that you have to be able to clearly identify the exact species of fly that the trout are taking, and that you need to have a really good or excellent copy of that particular insect. That's not true. My fly box contains possibly 6 patterns. Those 6 patterns I use throughout the season, irrespective of what flies are hatching or what the trout are taking. And what they are is just general suggestions of a food item. If you get caught up in the school of exact representation, then you're always going to be struggling, because you're always going to be trying to identify a particular insect and try to get an exact copy of it and all that sort of thing. Whereas if you have a general generic pattern that suggests a food item, that is what will work consistently. So my number 2 tip is, don't get caught up in the school of exact representation. So now to my number 1 tip for fly fishing success. It's no accident that 90% of the fish are caught by 10% of the anglers. The reason for this is that the 10% of the anglers who catch the most of the fish know about Rivercraft. Rivercraft is what will catch you more fish consistently than anything else. Understanding the river environment, knowing how it works, being able to identify where a fish might be, and understanding why he might be there as opposed to someplace else, and a whole lot else besides. Rivercraft is the number 1 tip because it is the one that will catch you more fish consistently. It can take quite a long time to learn Rivercraft on your own. I've been fishing all my life. Rivercraft is very important to me, and I continue to learn about Rivercraft. Every time I go to the river I see something new or I learn something new, and I'm building on it all the time. But you can shorten the journey if you can get somebody who understands Rivercraft, and I'm quite sure in your community, fly fishing community, you know people who are consistently catching fish and others aren't. If you ask them politely, they might take you along with them and show you what I mean. Rivercraft is my #1 tip for fly fishing success. That, along with keeping your cast short and forgetting about all this exact representation as it pertains to fly life, those are the 3 things that will consistently catch you more fish. If you apply these 3 tips, I will guarantee you that you will increase your catch rate. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for joining me, and good day on Céad Orella, good day Siad Slán.